Hi there, YouTube. This is the Magnus, bringing you my first Total War Warhammer 2 online ladder battle. I know it's been a while, but I have been playing Warhammer 2. I have enjoyed it. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to play multiplayer, but now I have maybe 25, 30 games under my belt. I've been paying attention to the meta, of course, and I feel like, hey, it's a good time to show you guys some stuff, and I had a little bit of free time. So my opponent chose the Dwarfs. I decided to bring the Warriors of Chaos. They're much improved in Warhammer 2, so I definitely wanted to roll with these guys. So I brought 3 aspiring champions, mainly because they have shields, and I wanted something to deal with missiles, which I'm sure were going to come from the Dwarfs. So I just wanted something to put up front for that purpose. And also I like their leadership bonus. So I feel in this situation, they bring me a little bit more than Chaos Marauders would, which are much more likely to rout early on, and those silver shields and high armor definitely help protect them against missiles. I have 4 Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and then in the center I have 2 Chosen with great weapons. These guys are the best can openers in the game infantry-wise, but they're also extremely expensive, so I'm hoping they pay off. I also brought 2 Gorbeast Chariots because they're basically lawnmowers from Dwarves, and I enjoy watching that and playing with it. And I brought, as my lord on foot, Arcane, the Never Chosen. And brought the Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, and I can't remember what it's called, but his little ability that really buffs his melee damage. Is he competitive? No. Is he fun? I'd say he's kind of fun now, so I had to bring him. My dwarf opponent brought an interesting build here. He has 4 Thunderers, great choice, armor-piercing missiles against Chaos. 2 Quarrelers with great weapons. The great weapons are going to do well, but the Quarreler fire maybe not so much, so this is my least favorite part of his build. He also has a cannon, probably expecting me to bring a lot of large. A lot of people bring Kolek, so I get where he's going with that. Rune Lord is a fine choice. Slayers obviously are always a good choice. And then on the left side, he has 4 Dwarf Warriors with great weapons. Good to be bringing that armor piercing. On the right side, he has 1, 2, 3. I thought it was 4, but it must be 3 Longbeards with great weapons. So it's 5 and 3. All great weapons. Little defensive geometry here. Generally, that's a sign of a new player, but when you're playing the Dwarfs, sometimes that's just them dealing with the limitation of the mobility of the Dwarves. I definitely think he could have used some Thanes here. 1 or 2 would be great. But I was more than happy to see he didn't have them because of the Gorbeast Chariot. So his cannon's going to fire at Arcane. I'd probably point it at the Gorbeast Chariot, but he probably assumed I had Arcane on Drogar, his horse, but I don't. I just brought him on foot. It's a little cheaper, and it's a little harder for anti-large stuff, obviously, to deal with him. So again, I went really wide here because I like to wrap around on the Dwarfs. I like to try to hit them from as many angles as possible. That sounds funny. That way I have the best chance of getting into their missile line and things like that. And I forward deploy these aspiring champions. I want them to take the missile fire. Obviously, if you with your micro, you want to point this point your firing line at my units that don't have shields. So it was very good for me. I'm going to put the Gorbeasts right into action because I don't see anything as a huge threat to them. You're also going to see a Burning Head come down here from Arcane. With Kindle Flame, it kind of helps offset the Dwarf's natural resistance to magic. And you'll see it does some really good damage here. These Thunderers take maybe a fourth or a third, or maybe even a third of their health off there. And the front lines are going to meet. My Chaos Warriors are coming in. The Chosen are coming in. The Burning Head's still ripping through there. And my infantry has all of his outclassed. He has the numbers, but I've got the quality. Already, as you can see, the Gorbeast Chariots, the Burning Head, doing a number on his missiles, and there really is no line. It's turned into a giant, chaotic mosh pit, which is definitely what I want. He's got Thunders that are just getting absolutely wrecked. His infantry is not faring much better. Look at these Longbeards with great weapons. The Chaos Warriors, the Chosen are just going to rip them apart. These guys are just incredible can openers, and you'll notice I'm using the Flaming Sword of Ruin. It gives them over 50 weapon damage and tons of armor piercing. They're just going to cut through the Dwarfs. So you're just going to see a very atypical battle for the Dwarfs, which I think caught my opponent off guard. He also may be a new player, because you notice his micro falling down here a little bit. I've experienced that myself, so no problem there. But what I mean as far as this being atypical for somebody playing as Dwarves is usually you're used to a long drawn-out fight as the Dwarves, but when somebody brings something this aggressive with this much armor piercing and stuff, you can really do a lot of damage to them quickly, and that can kind of throw them off as far as their timing. You know, they count on a long battle, and you bring something trying to force a very short battle. But as you see, just the Chosen just ripping things apart. Here comes through another burning head, catches about 3 or 4 of his units here. Doing great damage. And there's just panic all throughout his lines. A lot of his guys are routing, as you can see there in the distance. People running away. On the other side, people running away. And my opponent elects to concede at this point. And what's really jarring here is 571 dead Dwarfs, 33 dead Chaos. A small army for sure, but that is a ridiculously low amount of losses. So obviously I want to say good game to my opponent. Very well could have been a new player. Could have been that my composition and the aggression of it caught him off guard. Probably a combination of the two. Taking a look at how my guys performed, the Chosen just ripped things up. The Gorby's Chariot's the same. But even the Chaos Warriors with great weapons did not take very much damage. The Aspiring Champions did their job, took the missile fire, survived, hung in there, provided leadership. And Arcane in the Burning Head, and the amount of damage he can do himself as a melee combatant, he's not horrible. He's not good. He's not competitive. Kolek's a much better choice, and in some circumstances, I think even Sigvald's more playable than Arcane. Taking a look at my opponent's army, nothing really did well, clearly. As far as the composition, recommendations, drop the Quarrelers, get some regiments of renown if you can, like the Grumbling Guard and the Slayers. If you don't have access to that for whatever reason, understandable. But definitely get a Thane or two in the army. That'll help you out a lot with virtually every opponent. Anybody that could bring large against you. The Thane is really powerful with that net-like effect it has. I forget what the name of the sword is that gives it to you. But you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, it's good to be back. It's good to see Chaos more playable. I still wouldn't call them a Tier 1 faction. All of the Warhammer 2 races are extremely competitive in PvP. They're all Tier 1 in my book. So if you haven't picked up the game, you might definitely want to do that. Anyways, if you're glad to have me back, if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something, please hit like, please subscribe. It helps out a lot. I'm hoping that real life is going to let me bring you guys more videos, so I'm hoping to see you again real soon. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.